use Café con Gas as a platform to bring on this really special guest today. So there's a lot that has been going on in the news. One of these items that I wanted to bring up to your attention is this gentleman right here, Christian Titman, who actually, he's from Clovis, California, and he sued the state of California. The debate has been over eagle feathers, and this has been a very interesting topic for me to cover because eagles are endangered, right? So they make these feathers illegal, but they're also part of ritual sacred ceremony. So after suing the state, he wears his eagle feathers to graduation, and it's a really incredible story. And I think it's a great story of advocacy and like how often do we talk about legal battles as, oh, I'm going to sue you because this is unfair, or I'm going to sue you because I'm in a place of privilege. This gentleman uses the legal system to promote a piece of his culture, and I think that's just really, really important. So yeah, the names of healing, bravo. In the name of art, I'm going to take myself out of this picture and show you Granny. There is a huge movement happening in Portugal, and I'm really excited. And I'm actually going to, me voy a contar este en español para todos los viewers que hablan español también. Pero está pasando en las calles de Lisboa, en Portugal, un grupo de abuelas. No hay hombre haciendo esta cosa. They're just a group of grandmothers called Lata 65. And they're actually causando una gran controversia. Con el apoyo de diferentes artistas, with the support of different artists, these women are changing the meaning of street art and also in their age. So I really, really love seeing this article. And I really like seeing artists support, I really like seeing these artists come together in solidarity, and also to just demystify women and aging. I was having a conversation about this. I tend to observe many times in America, this is a place that, defeminizes the women's aging process. And, there's a lot of prejudice also against senior citizens and what they do. So seeing this article was just a really, really awesome, reminder, a really, really awesome reminder how you can let women age in public, and doing so while also contributing and intergenerationally people coming together. So I love this story. So in the name of arts, I wanted to bring this to you guys today for your Café con Gas News Digest. So healing, arts, diversity. What's in it for diversity? The truth and lies about poverty. This is something that I have been working on all week. I read this really interesting article in the Washington Times that talked about the 5 myths of poverty. And I really, something I really love to do on Café con Gas is bring a lot of what I do in my academic environment or during the day and translate this back to the public. When I was doing this and reading about the lies of poverty, some of the top points, and I'm going to pull this up for you, were so darn obvious. We're still talking about an academic book talking about one of the myths that poor people are lazy. It's just something that I've heard over and over again, and one of the reasons why I do Café con Gas is to show diversity, not just racial diversity, but also cognitive diversity, developmental diversity, and also economic diversity. And, the book brings up 5 points. Poor people do not value education, lazy, poor people are substance abusers. And I thought the best quote in relation to the substance abuser quote said, why do we not say, no wonder so many rich kids don't do well in college. Their parents are also all alcoholics. So I think that's really interesting. And there's also some legitimate research that's being done to show that people in poverty are less likely to drink and experience other extreme stressors and trauma that can actually challenge your memory and challenge you in different ways. So I think that's a really, really important issue. So bringing it just a little bit deeper. I just want to kind of slow it down a little bit. We do emotional check-ins, and I need to breathe because this is such an intense issue to report on, especially coming in my own experience, coming from a diverse socioeconomic background, it's sometimes middle class, it's sometimes, being in a household that we collectively make less than $15,000 and there's 2 adults in the household. So for me, I just have to take a breather, because it's one thing to see these issues be in the news, but it's another thing to see a voice who doesn't understand or hasn't lived with this personally narrating that story. So while I got the data and I thought this was great, I also thought to myself, man, if we can actually pay someone who lived through the experience to tell their story versus paying a consultant that hasn't lived that experience to tell the story as they observe someone else telling it, then we can make a change. But Café con Gas is going to do that in a little bit, because Louis is going to be with us. But these are some of the issues that I've been working on and working through and trying to apply. What can we do? So for a little artistic aid, again, Café con Gas brings dialogue alive on healing, arts, and diversity. I found this really, really, really incredible comic strip by Toby Morris, and it's called Privilege on a Plate. And I just want to click on this for you guys and show you as we redirect what this has been about. So this is really interesting, and it's just it's a comic strip that takes 2 different children in 2 different environments. And it says some things that are obvious and some things that are not. I want to focus on some of them because I don't necessarily agree with this representation, but that's why we have the news and resources out, so you can formulate your own opinion. I will share this with you, however. Right here is really incredible. Right here it says, Richard's parents will do anything for their baby. So both of their parents are helping him with his homework. And Paula, when I read it, I said Paula, says, and so will Paula's, but that's why they're working 2 jobs, and she's watching television. So that in itself is the parental engagement I'm providing for you, and you're going to be okay. So it's a really interesting balance, and there's a lot of myths around it. So given all those myths, we really have to ask ourselves, what is the truth? There's your story, my story, and there's also a third side of the story. So just stay tuned to checking your own privilege, having those conversations, but also I think widening the lens. I've had a lot of conversations really late in the game with friends in regard to privilege, and it's been a little bit of a hard thing to kind of navigate through. But visual aids like this can help, and art can also help. So, keep seeking those venues. So I'm really excited. I'm going to go back to the episode. That's your healing arts and diversity